What if I told you that buried deep within the classified archives of the Inquisition lies evidence of an entire Space Marine chapter that was deliberately erased from Imperial records? Not destroyed in battle, not fallen to chaos, but systematically removed from history itself. Today, we're diving into the mystery of the Void Wraiths, a chapter so dangerous to the Imperium's narrative that even speaking their name was once punishable by death. The year was 847 M41. While the galaxy burned with the fires of countless wars, a routine archaeological expedition on the dead world of Mortis Secundus made a discovery that would shake the very foundations of the Adeptus Astartes. Hidden beneath miles of corrupted earth, they found something that should never have existed. A fully intact chapter monastery, complete with gene seed vaults, armories, and most disturbing of all, records. The Void Wraiths were founded during the 13th founding, sometime in the 35th millennium. Unlike their brother chapters, they were created not for conquest or defense, but for a single, terrifying purpose: to hunt down and eliminate Space Marines who had gone rogue, not fallen to chaos, mind you, but those who had simply refused to follow orders from Terra. According to the recovered documents, the chapter was equipped with specialized war gear designed specifically for fighting other Astartes. Their bolters fired rounds coded to penetrate standard power armor. Their tactics were built around countering the standard Codex Astartes formations. They even had specialized psychers, trained to disrupt the mental conditioning that made Space Marines so loyal in the first place. But here's where it gets truly disturbing. The Void Wraiths weren't just hunting traitors. They were hunting heroes. The recovered records detail dozens of campaigns where the Void Wraiths were deployed against chapters that had committed no crime other than questioning orders from the High Lords of Terra, chapters that had refused to abandon civilian populations, chapters that had defied orders to massacre innocent Imperial citizens, chapters that had chosen to think for themselves. One particular entry describes the fate of the Stormbearers, a proud chapter that had served the Imperium for over 3 millennia. Their crime: they had refused a direct order to virus bomb their own recruitment world because a single Genestealer cult had been discovered among the population. The Stormbearers chose to fight the cult directly, believing they could save their people. Within a month, the Void Wraiths had declared them rogue. Within a year, every Stormbearer was dead, and their homeworld was listed as lost to administrative error in Imperial records. But the Void Wraith's most shocking campaign wasn't against rogues or rebels. It was against the Knights Exemplar, a chapter so loyal that they had named themselves after their dedication to Imperial virtue. The Knights Exemplar had discovered evidence of massive corruption within the Departamento Munitorum, evidence that supplies meant for frontline forces were being sold to alien pirates for personal profit. When the Knights Exemplar presented this evidence to the High Lords demanding justice, they were branded as traitors for undermining Imperial authority. The Void Wraiths were dispatched immediately. The battle lasted 3 years. The Knights Exemplar, despite their skill and righteousness, were systematically hunted down across 17 star systems. The final entry in their chapter records, found among the Void Wraith's trophies, reads simply, "We die as we lived, loyal to the true Imperium, not its corrupt masters." Now, here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. The Void Wraiths themselves began to question their purpose. Chapter Master Vorthak Caney, a veteran of over 2 centuries of these cleansing operations, started to see a pattern. Every chapter they destroyed had been trying to uphold the Emperor's true vision. Every rogue they hunted had been fighting corruption, protecting innocence, or standing against injustice. According to his personal journals, recovered from the monastery's deepest vaults, Caney began to realize a horrifying truth. The Void Wraiths weren't defenders of the Imperium. They were the High Lord's personal assassins, eliminating anyone who might threaten their grip on power. The breaking point came during the Valdris incident. The Void Wraiths were ordered to eliminate the Iron Shepherds, a chapter that had been protecting refugee convoys from dark Eldar raids. The Iron Shepherd's crime was refusing to abandon the refugees when ordered to redeploy to a more strategically important sector. For the first time in their chapter's history, the Void Wraiths refused their orders. Within hours, every Imperial Navy vessel in the sector had received new targeting coordinates. The Void Wraiths found themselves declared excommunicate traitoris, the very fate they had inflicted on so many others. But here's the most chilling part of this story. The Void Wraiths weren't destroyed in some glorious last stand. They simply vanished. One day they were there, the next gone. Their fortress monastery empty, their ships missing from Imperial records, their gene seed samples removed from Mars. Even their founding documents were scrubbed from the archives. The only reason we know any of this is because of that archaeological team on Mortis Secundus. But even that discovery was quickly classified. The team members were mind-wiped. The site was virus-bombed. And according to unofficial sources, anyone who even inquired about the expedition suffered accidents. But the story doesn't end there. Across the galaxy, there have been reports, unconfirmed, always denied, of Ghost Astartes appearing during the Imperium's darkest moments. Space Marines in unmarked armor fighting alongside the innocent against corrupt officials. Warriors who vanish before reinforcements arrive, leaving behind only dead tyrants and freed populations. Some say these are the surviving Void Wraiths, finally living up to their true purpose as defenders of the Emperor's vision. Others claim they're just myths, stories told by desperate people who want to believe that someone, somewhere, is fighting for what's right. The Inquisition claims the Void Wraiths never existed, that there are no records of such a chapter, that anyone spreading such stories is guilty of sedition against the throne. But if they never existed, why does the mere mention of their name send shivers through the highest levels of Imperial command? Why do Inquisitors go pale when presented with reports of unmarked Astartes? And why, in the deepest, most classified archives of Terra, does a single file remain, marked only with a skull and the words, Project Wraith, never again? The Imperium teaches us that knowledge is power, but some knowledge is too dangerous to possess. The Void Wraiths represent something the High Lords fear more than chaos, more than Xenos, more than heresy itself. The possibility that the Emperor's finest warriors might one day remember what they were truly created to protect. In the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war. But sometimes, just sometimes, there are those who still fight for what's right, even when the Imperium itself has forgotten the difference. The question isn't whether the Void Wraiths existed. The question is, are they still out there, watching, waiting, and preparing to remind the Imperium what true loyalty really means?